So good evening, welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're just having a few interesting moments mixing together. Zwift updates, Windows updates, PC updates, and an interesting moment with 4 Wi-Fi lines and an Ethernet. Just what you always want during the return to broadcast. But anyway, welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, live here on Downing Cycling YouTube channel. Our ride already underway, and our ride is already through the leading section. So we're going to be bringing you all of the action. We're going to be showing you just what our riders are taking on today. So you can see at the moment that we have our riders, they head out along what is Sand and Sequoias. It's basically 2 full laps at 20.2k, bringing us round the side of the flats, moving our way around and in, and then coming back around through Titans Grove and in. So once again, apologies for the delay. Windows update plus everything else updating on the way through means that despite running all afternoon, the moment that we went to go live, it all went exceptionally Pete Tong. So definitely not what we wanted to happen on the way through today, but hopefully our riders will get around this route pretty comfortably today before that go. So the whole route, a total of 42.8k elevation, 292 metres, and we have Chris Ball as our red beacon, and Russ is back, our yellow beacon, back in with us once again. Let's show you the details of the height gain here, because essentially this is a course of 2 halves. It runs along the flat section, and we work our way out and around in basically a clockwise direction. Our riders currently on the flatlands before they go up into Titans Grove, and that is the climb up to the high point. As you can see, the gradient's not too extreme, but it will be very interesting. So let's see how the riders are getting along. Let's dive across, and hopefully, as if by magic, it kind of works. So just see on your screen, our riders just starting to make their way in and through. Not quite sure who we've jumped in on. We're going to have a little bit of a look. I think let's jump in with Chris Ball. He's our beacon at the moment. So here we go. And Mr. Ball, currently our red beacon with a nice red jersey as well. What's at the top of the screen? You know the score. Splits on the side, top centre, speed, distance, height gain, and elapsed time, and then the map, top right hand corner, along with details up and down. So good to see Chris is watching, and as you can see, we are able to actually move the map about a little bit to get a better view. At the moment, our rider's well on the way around that flat section, and just making the way back through town. So we're going to keep our eyes on the side and just watch them over there. We're going to let you jump in with them live, just like we are, hopefully, and in theory, let's head across and keep up with the Donny Chaingang live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. So our riders at the moment looking good, just heading out. So remember, this group are going to be making the way in through the gorge, going in through the little oasis in the desert, and then they're going to be heading across in towards the lakeside. Once they've gone through that lakeside, then heading into Titans Grove, over Titans Grove, dropping round through that start-finish line, and then coming back out and round for a second full lap. Super busy, and really quick ride tonight. It is not the hilliest of Tuesdays, 292 metres. Now, we will try and get in touch with Russ throughout the duration of the show. Not necessarily going to work as smoothly as we would hope, because looks like still issues. So for those of you in the tech world, complete reinstall of everything basically on it today, just to make life very entertaining. So just keeping a check on our riders. Let's have a little look who's on the Chaingang today. Not had a chance to do this so far. Should be big numbers. We were expecting this to go well over that 100 rider mark. Let's jump in with Russ first of all. So let's take a quick view of Russ. Russ currently on what is a disc setup. Basically tonight is pretty much about being aero. There's just not enough height gain to make a difference. So Russ currently with a disc rear, deep front aero bike frame as well, which is what we're after. Nick Dorsey, best dressed man in cycling. Let's take a little check out what Nick's on today. Going for a black number. He's got more outfits than Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly combined on Strictly Come Dancing at the moment. So just in a little black number for Mr. Dorsey as he makes his way in along. I've got to say a massive thank you to everybody who's came and said hello or waved or gesticulated during the duration of the national championships over in Lincoln. For those of you who haven't heard the news, we have had wins in the national championship for riders who are regularly on the Donny Chaingang. Joe Tindley, a rider who's regularly on the women's chain gang, as well as coming on some of the men's chain gangs for the Pro Noctis Red Shelley Haddy Carson squad, local in Lincoln, winning the women's crit championship in series style. Also, of course, a win for Ben Swift, another regular on the Donny chain gang, and another of the riders that we know was up for it. Got a lot of help from Russ and Dean over the years as well, and great to see him in action as well. So congratulations to them. Real packed schedule with the time trials on the Thursday, the under 23 men's and women's time trial, as well as the senior men's and women's time trial on the Thursday, the crit champs on the Friday. The Saturday was the hill climb. Tom Parsons, one of our regulars on the Donny Chaingang, not making it through into the final, unfortunately, for that £1,000 first prize. Kieran Smith, though, who's in the gang at the moment. Let's find him here. Kieran doing a great job, and Kieran Smith taking second or third place, I think it was, I think it was third place. I just, to be honest, it's all got into a bit of a blur, because we then followed that up with a road race, the Lincoln Grand Prix, which was very busy as well. But Kieran getting on the podium over the course of the weekend, doing a great job. Good to see Ruby Isaacs back on the Chaingang once again, and not necessarily a route that suits our lighter riders. So let's see how they're getting on. It's not the easiest. This is all about seeing how fast they go. So there were riders having great rides all the way through. Lots of the Donny Chaingang guys were there saying hello, waving. Apologies if I didn't get the chance to say hi by morning, afternoon, evening, or even grab me a coffee. It was pretty mental. A really intense 4 days. Not least of which because we were up testing the broadcast out, doing that live on the Thursday evening from the world's biggest mast in Lincolnshire. In fact, that's pretty much how we found where we wanted to be. The stream going well until we burnt through, for some reason, 4 times as much data as we'd done in any of the tests before, so killed us off instantaneously, and it's not a quick fix at that stage, but great to know that no matter what, we are going to be able to bring you the Donny Chaingang. We just need very deep pockets for the volume of data that we're going to be bouncing around if we are in the middle of nowhere, and need to have maybe a little bit more allowance. You don't want to know how many gigs it was, but very, very interesting. Now, lots of new riders in with us as well. I'm sure they know the score. Sit on Russ, basically all pile on Russ all the way through until we reach the magical signal, that 3 Gs with 3 Os behind, and then we're going to be heading off and round. Now, news for the members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. Great news. Next week, it is Halloween week, so Halo, our fantastic sponsor, you can see them at the bottom of the screen, who have looked after us, have been with us since the very start. They give us a discount that we pass on to our members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. That discount is going to be doubled next week, and on top of that, we are going to be giving away 3 prizes, £200, £150 and £50. 200, 100 and £50 to the members of the DCG gang to spend on Halo products with Halo, and that extra discount can be used in conjunction with it as well. So next week, random prize draws during the show, live at the start of the show. Better make sure the thing's all running by then, and giving away great giveaways to the members of the DCG gang. Lots of people have the regular ask, oh, why doesn't it go out to everybody on the gang? Well, it's really easy. The members of the DCG gang make the gang happen, which would not, it's really simple, would not be possible if it wasn't for the members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. Everyone who donates helps us keep on the road, whether that is the extra internet lines that we have to put in to make sure that we can bring it in and broadcast it out, whether it's the ticketing system, whether it is the umpteen cable. I've lost count of the amount of cables. If I weighed it all in, I could probably retire, to be honest. All the cables, all the lights, all the monitors, the PCs, the interfaces, the graphics cards, the updated systems, on top of all the other expenses that go along with it, with getting prizes out, etc. Without the help of the Chaingang Supporters Club, the DCG gang, we just could not do this, Russ and I. We just couldn't literally dedicate the amount of time that it takes to keep it running. Never mind a Facebook page, which at the moment has applications to join it at a rather prolific rate, which is taking a little bit of looking after. If we didn't care, we could just approve anybody, just let it crack on. But we don't work like that, neither Ross and I, and the whole point of the Chain Gang is to provide a quality experience for our riders where you are able to get a great workout, and it doesn't matter whether you're the fastest man on the planet or the slowest man on the planet, you're going to get a great workout, and by man I mean human person. We've got to be very careful these days because basically I count all of our riders, it doesn't matter who is who, so it is pretty critical that we get that support. So that's why we look after them. It's our way of really saying thank you. So the more that we can look after the riders who are on the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, by giving them those discounts, everything from the Oakley discounts from 1080 to the gritty clothing discounts and the gritty giveaways, and we've got some great giveaways coming up. We have 4 big giveaways on the run into Christmas. We're going to kick it off with Halloween, and then from Halloween we're going to move into a couple of weeks later, the week of the COP26 summit. We are going to move into Gritty Week, the sustainable sports apparel, and some great giveaways from Gritty, and as well as some great discounts as well, some new products landing with them as well, which is great to see. I know everybody who has been and got hold of them loving them. We've also then going to move on to our 12 DCGs of Christmas. Now this includes our WOW DCG, the women only Wednesday Donny Chain Gangs. There are 12 in Christmas, and 1080 Ian Taylor, who's on the ride tonight, is looking after everybody on that who's a member of the DCG gang, and we've got some great giveaways, not just Oakley Pros but all sorts of bits and pieces. 12 giveaways every single Chain Gang in December, and that is absolutely superb to see. Now, let's see if those 12 DCGs of Christmas Eve in the WOW DCGs are going to attract big numbers. Remember, it is only the members of the DCG gang, the supporters club, who are going to get that support, because basically they're the guys who keep the show on the road. We've got to look after them, because without them, nobody gets a ride. That's really simple. We also have coming up an OTE week, Annie Simpson, all the gang supporting everybody as well, so really looking forward to that as well. And that's going to be really, really busy, and I think as the weeks run into Christmas, it's going to be amazing. We've also got some great routes planned, absolutely loving some of these routes coming up. Halloween next week, you have been warned. It is going to be an interesting week. It's going to be a real cracking week, reflecting the fact that Halo, of course, have a portfolio that covers road and off-road. I'm going to leave it to your imagination. The members of the DCG gang, of course, they get the advance notice of the kit and what they're going to need. They get a heads up on the route, they get a heads up on what's coming through, and they're going to get a heads up on what is going to be happening, where those finishing lines are. Same with the women's only Wednesdays. Now this is a busy week. We have three Donny Chain Gangs this week. We have our 2 standard Donny Chain Gangs over the course of the next Tuesday and Thursday. We then have the women's only Wednesday, led by Emma, and that is always really popular. Great to see everybody riding and improving on that, and that is going to be the Women's Only Wednesday. They're out on RGV this week. You can get the links, if you remember, on your links straight in. You can go onto the WOW DCG link on the donnychaingang.co.uk. And the Women's Only Wednesdays kicking off this week at RGV. We've had 2 previous ones. We were up at Keith Hill before, and then we were over previous to that around Tempest Fugit, in fact. So Tempest Fugit and then Keith Hill, and we had Greater London Flat. We also got some great ones coming up. We've got RGV coming up. There's a couple more entertaining ones as well, so it's going to be really interesting watching what happens as those rides progress as well. And all of this, of course, got to say thank you to our volunteers in here who make it happen. So people like our Red Beacon, Chris Ball tonight, it's Andy Hawes on Thursday, all controlled by the inimitable Gail Phillips, who's our spreadsheet supremo, and she's just making sure that they're grabbing everybody in. So at the moment it is looking pretty good on the Chaingang at the moment. The team just rolling around. Just going to take a little bit of a run down to the team here at the back. So basically the red not all that far back from the yellow beacon. Good to see Chris Hastert James is back on the Chaingang once again, and looking forward to seeing Chris on regularly. Good to have you back, Chris. Darryl Sashel Waller in here. Jess Learmouse, there's been on the featured. Russ has already picked her out, but you can't highlight this woman too much. Olympian, an absolute star. Jess just in action at the moment on the Donny Chaingang, and back out and riding. Good to have Jess with us, another regular on the Chaingang. Of course, got to say a big thank you to Jimmy Allen. Jimmy was the beacon, the yellow beacon, last week. That is the Wolf is back and really caught lots of people out on Thursday. Brilliant leading by Jimmy, and went for it. Really did confuse people. He put a couple of sprints in there. He was really testing everybody's abilities, and then as things got really interesting indeed, we then had a little bit of a different signal of when to go, and that really did make the difference. Now, taking a little look here, just looks like we've just seen as the Velociraptors try and keep up with our riders. The Chaingang going a little bit too fast, so let's see how they're going. It is currently 13k in. Remember, this is a relatively short one, 42. So let's see how close the guys are going to go out on here. Got to say a big thank you as well to a few of the people we know. Ben from Fellow Viewer back on the Chaingang again. Ben, one of our real fast riders, Ben Lowe. But Ben is responsible for all of those sort of graphics that you see at the start with those in detail. Now, if you're a member of the DCG gang, you get the links sent to you to jump on to the Fellow Viewer site. The membership for the Fellow Viewer site for the year, disgustingly cheap if you want a pro account on there, and it's great for everyone because you basically can look at everything in detail. We use it extensively when we're planning routes. We'll look at it for gradients, we look at it for distances, we look at it for key points on the course. I also use it for commentary as well, for a lot of the courses that we're using as well. Really interesting. So good to see how the people who help us out are back on the Chaingang once again, and we expect the numbers to steadily rise all the way through the winter as they did last winter. So the Chaingang moving well at the moment, and looks like pretty much everybody in here. It looks like there's certain Mr. Wood in here from Team Sheffield at the moment. So Rob Wimble on the Chaingang as well. Got a real mix of riders in here. Dave Hopkins, Andy Verrill's back in, Shelley Childs, Dan Page back in with us. Lauren O'Brien is in as well. Good to see Lauren on the Chaingang. Lauren, another of our regular fast riders, one of the Yorkshire contingent that make the trip in, and good to see Lauren on the Chaingang, riding very strongly, nicely in this pack. You can just see this group working really well together, and this is what we want to see on the Chaingang. The whole point of the Chaingang is that our riders work together, and it's all about working as a group. It's a great learning experience if you've not raced or ridden on Zwift in big packs. Great way to learn. Jump on the Chaingang with the Donny Chaingang, and you'll find yourself in the mix and out and ready now. Just going to jump on with Benjamin Taylor. Taylor, another of our youngsters here. Let's pull some figures up. 12 years old is Mr. Taylor, and working well here just alongside Kieran Smith. So great to see he's on here as well. So good to see that Lauren O'Brien said she can't believe she's actually missed this. Well, of course you have. It's a Donny Chaingang. Everybody misses it when they're not on it. Right, let's have a little look through. Carl Kopinski's on here, the man responsible behind the pen and ink drawing of the bear in action, and Carl on the Chaingang here. Looking really, really smooth at the moment. 90 revs per minute, 133 beats per minute, and looking very good as well on this nicely colour coordinated kit. So let's take another little look. Who else have we got on the Chaingang? Looks like Stefano Borelli is back in with us. Stefano, of course, of Nonna's key supporters, and the Italian week, the Tour of Italy week. A great week when we tied in with Nonna's. I know lots of the Chaingang riders going in and visiting Stefano in the restaurant on the side of the road there in Sheffield. Great to have Stefano back on the gang and regularly in with us as well. Mr. Mason's back with us, so good to see Gareth Mason is here. A route this week's route perhaps more suited to him than the climbers gambit that we had previously, and it's just we'll just have to go up above here, just in the black diamond grey diamonds there. So looking good at the moment. The gang pretty much all together on this climb of Titans Grove, and working the way through. Remember, once they drop out of Titans Grove, it drops back down in towards the Fuego Flats area, and then into the climbs there. So it is going to be really interesting to see. So one full lap of the desert and then back through Titans Grove. We do one full lap, we go through the start line, we go back through again, and we should just about make it through the line with the K or so to go to the finish. So the two beacons at the back just keeping everything under control, looking pretty smooth as they go up this climb. So nice to see plenty of numbers on the Chaingang. We're missing some of our regulars as well. Got to say a get well soon to Caroline Mansfield. Caroline, of course, the head honcho at Gritty, one of our key supporters of the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and the plague, the dreaded lurgy, striking Caroline, and Caroline having to sit out in isolation, feet up, and hopefully watch it on the screen. So our Gritty team at the moment will be plotting and planning, no doubt, for the Gritty week. But Caroline, get well soon, recover, rest, come back at your own pace. We know people do need to do plenty of recovery after catching COVID, and it is really important that you get your recovery done properly on the way through. Now, on the descent, just taking a little bit of a look, massive gap starting to open in front of the yellow beacon. You can just see two massive blocks up on the front. So 6 second gap starting to split between the front and the back at the moment. The front holding off the pace actually at the moment. Good to see, I think Tracy's in the Gaelic McDermott, Barry Kipling and co. In fact, it's about 15 seconds from yellow to the front of the group. 15 seconds from yellow to the front of the group at the moment. So guys, you need to just back off the pace if you're on the front. Good to see that we've got Julie there, just back in the Chaingang, just in with Julie. Just tucked in here on the Cervelo there, right by the side of Russ there. Great work by Julie. Just look at that. Basically hovering on top of Russ there, which is a perfect bit of time in there. That's exactly what I want to see, sitting on top of, sit with Russ, and you can't go far wrong on the way through. So great to see Julie is back with us. Just going to work our way through the chain. Sonia Inslee's back. Sonia, another of our regular Donny chain gangers in the squad here, and one of the recipients, in fact, of a 1080 giveaway on the chain gang. So great to see Sonia on the chain gang once again. Geoff from Scott Sports is with us. Geoff Watson in here. So let's take a look at Geoff. Geoff, the hair's pretty much the right colour these days. Certainly starting to be similar colour to mine, if not Russ's, that's for sure. Geoff at the moment just kicking along nicely, 68 revs per minute, 154 beats per minute, so not too high at the moment. Just going to work our way through. So Rodney's in here as well, Mr. Rosie K, Tom Elliott in the gang, Dave Hopkinson. Just going to have a quick check out on Richardson. It's good to have Claire Richardson in the gang as well. And good to see so many women in and riding on the Tuesdays as well as on the women's Wednesdays on the chain gang. And looking forward to seeing how that runs along. Remember, the dynamics work slightly differently on the Wednesday. So if you're a lighter female rider, generally you find it, generally you get that same chain gang experience that most of the guys get during the Tuesdays and Thursdays. You get a better one on the Wednesdays, and that's just simply because of the dynamics, because the similar body shapes tend to find that Zwift rides similar for all of them, and that's really is critical, that you get that feel and you get that ride on your way through, that it is equivalent on the way through. So good to see Claire in this gang. Dave Fulton's in the gang as well. Potts is in here. Just a real who's who of Donny Chain gang riders, and great to see in this gang. Just working along nicely. Hopefully everybody just starting to warm up nicely on the way through. Ian Taylor in here, just nearly missed him on the way through. It's tricky to catch on the way in here. Somewhere he's about. That's not the same Taylor, but lots of Taylors actually on the chain gang today. Here we go. So good to see Ian on the chain gang once again, another of our regular riders, and keeping it right in the middle of the pack there, just a touch in front of Russ, holding position nicely, and of course the man behind the Here Comes the Sun, the Oakley August, as well of course as the 12 days of the DCG, the 12 DCGs for Christmas. Going to be really interesting now. Let's have a little bit of a check a bit further back through. So our riders now coming down through the flats here, and as you can see, if we take the camera up, the drone up into the air, this gang working together well as we come off the side of Titans Grove, going through the lava springs and through the hot springs on the way down from Titans Grove, running away from our dinosaurs out on the road, and heading into our next junction. Now we're going to take a right hand turn here and head back in towards the Fuego Flats area. We'll actually run directly past the start, and then come past basically our pens and head in towards the group. So let's take a little bit of a look. Looks pretty good group on there. Just seeing one rider off the back. Not quite sure who's having a little drift off the back, whether it's a rider about to kick in. Andy Drever just sitting in the back there. Andy, just need to get a bit of a move on, mate. You're 10 seconds down on the group according to this, and that means you're going to be in trouble if it stays that way now. Riders coming out of the Utopian Forest. out and away from the Titans Grove, away from the Sequoias, and now heading back into the Sound. The Sound of Sequoias, of course, giving it its name. So coming in through past those pens, this big group of riders at the moment, looking really good, and you can see the gorge just starting to come in. The riders all together riding pretty well. Our Chris Ball, our Red Beacon, just tucked on the back of the group there, and you can see almost everyone together, just keeping pace with our group on the way through. Everybody knows if they ride the Donny Chaingang regularly that you don't want to go mad at the start. You need to just take it steady, let it wind up. There's plenty of time to give it beans as you get into the later stages and try and up that FTP, up that power, and up the performance as you come through. So our riders making their way in towards the start-finish line proper. That is the rock arch that's part of the Fuego Flats sprint area. That will be one complete lap covered. Apologies for the late start today. Technical issues beyond our control. Always love it when you can say that. Quite literally, technical issues beyond our control are just causing us problems with tying everything together. Basically, we could have had any one item working, but nothing else. We just go past the full speed events avatar that jumped in late. Gives us a good idea of where we actually jumped into the ride itself. So just seeing our riders come past the full speed events avatar, just coming into this. This is the turning loop. If we pull the map up, you can see that loop top right hand side of your screen. Just riding in with Gale from the Viking Velo at the moment. So you can just see going round that loop, and then we're going to be heading in towards that Fuego Flats area. But the riders at the moment looking good, and certainly seem to be keeping it all together as they come through. No real big splits as the pack makes its way through the desert and heads in towards our start finish line to complete one full circuit proper from the start finish line. So this is the archway where our start-finish line is each lap. This means our riders coming through with one lap complete. One lap to go as they come over the line here underneath that rock arch, the line just on the floor. They just see the back of the bunch going away from it, and that is where our riders will be coming back through. As you can see, plenty of people already setting personal best times around this circuit, around the San Sequoias lap here. And remember, this personal best times actually are there for 30 days. It's your best time within the 30 days on Zwift, and great to see so many people do so. Tim Cooper on his way through here. Tim, of course, one of the key people in keeping the show on the road, our IT tech guru, and a big contributor in terms of hardware as well to the show. Massive thank you to Tim, got to say, doing a great job of keeping the show on the road. And without Tim, you wouldn't be getting quite the same experience you do these days. It's it has to be said. Now, just seeing a few people starting to get tailed off the back of this main group here, and just starting to run through. So our riders on the way through. Remember, we've got leading on the way in. So just Tim asking the question, we're exactly halfway through as we go underneath the gantry, underneath the archway. Well, actually, that's kind of how it works. We've got the leading on the front, and it's almost equally matched on the rear of this route. We always try and put a run in from the actual finish to the blue, just to encourage people just to wind down, just to let those legs spin out. That is really, really critical. Now, just seeing Ted out the back here with Tim Leary, Chris Ball just going back, Keith Richardson going back. I think I'll be able to pull Tim onto the group. Ted is out the back as well at the moment. Just not like Ted to be distance. Just going to take a little bit of a check on Ted's screen, because Ted normally one of the riders who we know is going to be right up there. Nice matching jersey to his bike, or should that be bike matching to the jersey from Ted on the way through. Looks like Jeff Saisel actually at the very back here. Jeff more than capable of coming back in to the group. We regularly see him pushing 5 watts per kilo plus. So just yo-yoing about at the back a little bit at the moment. So Ted, looks like Ted's on a part day today. So Jeff Saisel now is going to have to chase quite hard to get into this group. So here we go. So good to see Tim in the gang here and riding well. The red beacon just coming through the next rock archer. Then our riders will be alongside the rail line. And just see if we pull our drone up. You just see that rail line coming alongside. Just keep our eyes open for the train on its way through. Usually manage to catch up with it somewhere. So riders are now starting to be shed. If we take a look up the road, we've got Tim Leary, we've got Ruby Isaacs just in front with Chris Ball. It looks like that's going to become our red beacon group, the bus in operation. Keith Hayward at the moment, just distance from that front group. Keith Richardson, Les Wilcox, looks like Nichols just being distance here. That's Michael Nichols of the 3RT team. Then Gale at the moment on the back of the gang. Remember, you cannot see front to back now on the Chaingang, and that is quite simply because we have over 100 riders. Swift renders 100 riders for you. It doesn't render any more, whether we've got 101 or we've got 501 or 10,001. You only see 100 riders, and in that 100 riders you'll see the red beacon and you'll see the yellow beacon. They show on everybody's screen. If they don't, it means your system needs updating, or you need a better internet signal, generally a hardwired one. Now, Chris Ball, Ruby Isaac, just should be seeing hopefully Tim Leary just closing on their back wheel here. Tim just pushing on. Come on, Tim. Time to give it a kick here. Get onto that red beacon group. It's there, dangling like a carrot in front. In front of our red beacon, well, looks like Les Wilcoxon and Keith Hayward are likely to be seeing our red beacon closing up the gaps. Richardson just trying to get back into the gang, as is Nichols. Big ass though, because on this course, on this flat section, if you are not in that group, if you are not sat on a wheel, if you let more than 6 meters go, you are in big trouble. It's deepest, darkest doodah time for people if you miss that split and it goes in front of you. So you've got to be on there. And you can just see Nichols here. He's doing 3.4, 3.7 watts per kilo and cannot get onto the back of the group. And that is just the dynamics of how this game runs. So Nichols, Richardson, Saisel, Hayward at the moment, all distance from that game. That's Wilcoxon, going to be Chris Ball and I think Ruby Isaacs and Tim Leary. So come on, Tim, last big push here. Get onto the back of this group, get onto the red beacon. Time to get that bus forming. The group will run so much quicker once it gets 3 or 4 riders together. The dynamics of Zwift following the same dynamic algorithm basically as it does in real life. If you are in a group, you are saving huge amounts of energy, as we see our yellow beacon around the far side of the lake. This now the red beacon group just starting to pick people up. I think the next rider's joining is going to be Les Wilcoxon. So come on, Les, jump in with the gang. The bus now quickly becoming 4 riders. Bit of grand talk coffee for me whilst I watch them. So 4 riders together on the bus just in front. Keith Hayward. Hayward is going to be able to see them coming behind. That'll make it 5. That group will run a lot smoother together once we get them. Then we're going to see Nichols and Richardson still both distanced off the back of the bunch. This is the main bunch, but at the moment They are dropping rider after rider as the pace starts to hot up, as it starts to get quicker. And you can see just rolling around at the back, Drybo's in here, Julie Leodis is in, looks like young Mr. Taylor in this back of this group here as well. So Benjamin Taylor just took on the back. John Garfer in here. Tracy is in here as well. Tracy starting off, got to say a massive thank you to Tracy. Tracy started off just on the women's Chaingang, now riding the men's and women's Chaingang on Tuesday and Thursday, in addition to the women's only Chaingang on a Wednesday, and really has got addicted. Don't worry, there's therapy for it. It's called Just Do More. We always want to look after our riders, and Tracy really is doing a huge amount on the Chaingang, and great to see. She'll be picking up lots of drops points, meaning that she gets a pick of the kit. But doing a great job of riding with this gang as the pace continues to hot up. Just starting to see people just drop off. Looks like Wilcoxon just going to be distancing as Richardson comes in and past. Never good news if you get dropped on zero. That's either a power dropout or a done enough. Plenty of pocketfuls of ride-ons at the moment. Let's give them a ride-on for the work so far. Just going to keep a little bit of a check here. So looks like Jonathan Wilkinson just distanced a little bit. Ruby just pushing Ball, Hayward and Leary along at the moment. So they're on the back wheel of the youngster and need to just keep pushing to stay with her at the moment. So it looks to me like just seeing that little bit of a push from Ruby as she goes on and through now. Just going to take a little bit of a look up the road. So Gurnhill's in here. Good to have you back in here. Andy Scullen's back in the group as well as Andrew Gurnhill. And you can just see the back of this group. It is just fracturing. The main group holding together so well, and it's just the odd rider just starting to get distance now. So it looks like Tracy just being distanced in those last few hundred metres. So Tracy's now going to be heading back to that red beacon group. She's got quite a long way to wait. She'll probably get halfway in through the woods, I would imagine, before that group comes back. Just up in front, just seeing Wilson and Julie Leodis now. So what we always say on the Chaingang, when you get distance, find a group, work together. Even if it means waiting up a little bit, look at the numbers on the screen in front or behind and see if you can find somebody who's riding at a really similar pace, because that is going to be a really good pack. Now, Keith Richardson, I think he's going to try and charge past, use the draft on them to get up to that main group. Tracy just a little further back, then it's going to be Nichols, Ball, Wilcoxon, Hayward and Leary. I think Ruby just jumping off it. Mel Bush has got power issues. Good to see Mark Tickle continuing onwards now. Mark, we know, just on his way back, and will have told people he's not to hold on for him on the way through, and that is pretty key. If you are on the Chaingang, if you're going to come and join us on the Donny Chaingang, please do. But what we really want you to see is that you basically tell the red beacons, if you're going to just roll off the back, if you're just doing a specific thing off the back of the group, or you're not going to stay with them, if you're injured, if you're coming back from COVID, if you just want an easier ride, then the red beacon's going to go. The red beacon's going to hold at 2 to 2.5 watts per kilo. That's the aim. If you're going to go at 1 watt per kilo, or you're maybe just going to ride for 20 minutes, the worst thing that can happen is the red beacon waits for you, and then you just jump off without telling them, because all of our beacons, well, they're volunteers, and it really is critical that you keep them informed of what your plans are. A little bit further up in front, just see Wilson along with Julie Leodis. Currently have Tracy just behind here, so you just see Tracy, if she can close in on these two in front, and she's pushing on hard here, she may well find that threesome can just keep the leaders in sight. Richardson at the moment off the back here, and you can just see, I think, Gurnhill just having to push here. So Andrew Gurnhill just starting to feel that pressure, just starting to drop, doing a good ride. Come on, mate. Time to hang on to the back of those riders. You just see that rider just up above him at the minute, behind Richardson coming fast, but is he going to be able to close that gap down? I think that's a bit of a big ask at the moment. And then we've got Julie Leodis and Steve Wilson behind. So it looks like Sonia now, the next rider, just being distanced a little bit as they come up and across the top here. Things definitely proving interesting. Good to see that we are looking at the gang and seeing everybody just trying to work together. The app, though, starting to struggle, it has to be said. Just currently having a bit of a minor technical issue. I think I might try and get a picture of this. You never know. Could be very interesting. So at the moment, looks like most people's companions apps starting to steadily feel the effects, as are our riders. Just going to work our way up through these groups as the pressure starts to stretch these riders out. And you can see the splits are really starting to open up here. So Russ at the moment at 5.6 watts per kilo, and you can just see as everybody roller coasters their way up and over, things really just starting to hot up and get really entertaining. So the go are going whilst the companion app, whilst the screen's all playing silly Watsits, and you can just see the gang just splitting under the pressure of the go. So we have our leading group up at the front with Russ and all of the gang trying to climb up. Remember, you can just see on the bottom of the screen there, they're just making their way up. There's still the big step ups still to do. Kieran Smith in here, looks like Greg Booker in here now. Looks like Tim Cooper just being distanced from that leading group. Goddard, Barrett the same. Just seeing Paul Simon out on his way through. Simon Runnett doing the same. Obviously, clearly didn't need to go per call just before. Rob Wimble in this group. Mr. Pearson, Claire Richardson in group number 2, the second of these big groups. Ian Bale in there. Looks like Wood in there. Pillsworth Ben from Velaview just a little bit further back, as is Hein Ferren. Lauren O'Brien on another good ride here. You can just see sat into this group here. Lauren doing a good ride at the moment, just continues to try and push her way up over to that front of that group, just to keep it ticking along. We're just going to roll back up towards the very front group, though. Be all right if we could actually identify the riders in there at the moment, just posing a little bit of a technical issue, let's say. So in the leading group, John Wild, Russ Downing, Neil Birmingham, Isaac Oliver, Rob Varty, Andy Driver, the fat cyclist Mark Thorpe, Craig Genther in there, Russell Osmond, Kieran Smith, Richard Woodall, Darrell Tashawala, Jimmy Allen in there, looks like Ash Dowtree in there, Greg Booker, Tom Crapper in that group, along with John Potts. Then it's 20 seconds back to Paul Simonite, James West, Tim Cooper, along with Joel Davis, Dan Page, Simon Runnicombe, Barrett, Chris Goddard, quite a few riders. Obviously these not going to be everybody. We'll try and catch and name check everyone on the way through. Claire Richardson in that group there as well. Lauren O'Brien in that group. Just taking a little bit of a look a bit further back down, and you can see the gaps really are starting to open up between our riders. But don't forget, if you are distanced, find yourself a pack, jump in with that group, and try and make sure that you have some assistance on the way through. Now, John Wild at the moment is the rider who is just off the front. The riders behind him with a little bit of a gap back from him at the moment. Birmingham just trying to close him down. So it's Wild now, the chase coming from Andy at the moment. Can he make that gap back? Now he's working well at the moment. You can just see just pulling Wild back, gap starting to come down, leading the group out behind Kieran Smith. Then Birmingham, looks like Thorpe putting another good ride in here. Good to see Mark Thorpe doing such a good job. He keeps on working in with these guys, and look, just see the gaps just come back down, and once they start working together, they start to pull riders back very, very quickly. A little bit further back, just seeing Booth in here now. Greg Booker put in a great ride. Who's in the final. Again, another rider who's in the final of that £1,000 first prize on the hill climb. Not to be a Greg's day up on the podium with Kieran Smith, but it was Callum Brown who took away that four-figure wad of money, quite literally money in an envelope. Cash in the envelope first prize, that's what you want to see. And Greg Booker not able to challenge to the finisher to take that away, and it went to Callum, who took the to the prize at the end in Lincoln now. This is what is left of that chasing group, so OZK on this group here. So if we take a little bit of a check as they come through. So here we go, Woodall, then OZK coming through, then Osman, Tachel Waller, Dowtree a little bit further back on his own, then it's going to be Tom Cropper just being distanced, then it's going to be Paul Simon run it, then it's going to be Page a little bit further back, but right up on the front. You can just see Dryber just trying to stretch this gap back out again. They are in a long, thin line behind him as he puts the pressure down. 6.9 watts per kilo at the moment. Andy just trying to stretch this out at the moment. And the gaps are starting to open now. He hasn't got all that far before he reaches the top, the summit. You can just see if we drop this into 3D view and take a look up the road. He's going to see those stone piles at the side of the road. They're quite subtle. These little cairns here, basically just as you go over the top, that's the top of the summit. But it does mean if you've got a little bit of a gap, as you've got from these leading 3 or 4 back, that the gaps are going to open now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders clear at the front. 6 plus 1 who's closing. That's Birmingham who's just trying to close in. And again, look at the volume of personal best times as they go up over the top. Farty doing the same. I think OZK is going to get a personal best time here. Osman, Tachel Waller, you name it, they're all going to start getting these as they come through. Thomas is going to be our next rider up over the top. I think Thomas is going to grab a personal best. Yes, he does indeed. So you can just see these groups all grabbing personal best. But if you're not in the leading group as you go up over the top, you are in trouble. So here we go, Wild, Driver. Looks sort of like Jimmy Allen in this group as well. The Wolf is in the pack at the front, leading them down this slope at the moment. They are leading a group of 6 behind. The Yellow Beacon group is coming, and it's chasing hard here. It's trying to close this gap down. Let's get this drone up in the air because we should be able to get a half decent view back off them. It's a little bit of a roller coaster at the moment as these riders come in and through, but here they come. The chase is on. A group number 2 are going to make contact with the back. Jimmy Allen knows the danger. He's just trying to open that up. You can just see though the gap has come down. The chasing a group of 5 and make it on to the hills. That's a group of 10 now. So 10 riders at the front. The 11th and 12th place riders being distanced as we come up this little roller coaster section of the road. You can just see that gradient kicking in as we climb out from the side, this valley, this little gully as you drop down. Basically we climb up and over the sides of it, just working our way around, and the ground dropping away once again. Now the riders behind just starting to make contact. Looks like young Oliver just joining into this group, so he's made it across the gap, and looks like Russ, for all his protestation that he was having a tough time and he'd been really busy all weekend, has managed to claw his way back in once again. So the Bear is still in the group at the moment. Both the Bear and the Wolf holding on to this group. The Bear, Russ Downing, the Wolf is Jimmy Allen, our leader of the women's Donny Chaingang. Well, that is the boss. That's Emma. That all of our leaders end up with a nickname one way or another. So the gang on the way through, looking good here now. Kieran Smith on the back of this group. It looks like Gareth Mason in there. Greg Booker is in this group. Andy Driver's in here. You can just see Thorpe's in the gang. Oliver in the group as well. Now he does have the advantage that he's one of our lighter riders. Will he be fast enough? Will he be light enough to put the power down? Has he got enough of a kick? And these youngsters getting quicker and quicker, or maybe we're just getting older and going slower and slower. But Isaac Oliver are under 14 in this group as well. A national level rider realistically, and no real surprise that he's able to sit in this group. The question is, can he make it pay off as we come round these roller coasters? You can see this group are are really motoring at the moment. We're just in with Russ. If we just drop down at wheel level at the moment, the groups behind, while they are really stretched out. Our next group on the road, while Birmingham just dropping back towards the clutches again. They're at 16 and 18 seconds, 28 seconds down is the next rider. You can see it is well and truly dot to dot on the way around. We're going to drop down to the T-junction, go through the mud flats, through the lava pits, and then heading down to the T-junction. Then we take a right-hand turn. Now Russ just going for a bit of a kick over the top there, just opening a little bit of a gap, and you can see Russ just stretching them out once again. So 1 second, Russ really likes this route, I warn you now. Maybe a little bit late to tell you, but looking really, really good at the moment. And Russ just stretching it out. The geezers down here just starting to vent as they come in through. And at the moment, Russ just using that roller coaster section just to roll it on its way down. So it looks like Krista Heseltine, Jay's a little bit further, just seeing the bear falling out the street. There's lots of great sights actually on this route. Swift with the wonders of Watopia. It means we have a real fantasy world, but it's really realistic. It's been designed to work on it as a great riding route all the way around Watopia. That's whether it is a climb like Reach the Skies, or whether it is one of our lava routes through the volcano, whether it's the desert. So not having to mimic real life, actually something that rides really well. That's one of the reasons why we do like coming into Watopia. The gang at the front working very, very well together at the moment. Downing, Booker, Elliott and co in that leading group. They've taken the right-hand turn, and looks like Jimmy Allen just going for a bit of a long one again. So the Wolf back in to full flow, and just see Jimmy at the moment just starting to stretch it out a little bit here. So not putting in massive watts per kilo here, but just keeping them honest behind and keeping them going. So definitely the Wolf, Jimmy Allen, just starting to string this group out a little bit, but they're coming back towards him, and all of these riders are in with a shout. Now we go past the pens, we then head around the little loop. As we come in, we then take the run in, and we finish at the Rock Arch. These riders will know this inside out. It's a route we've used before. It's a regular finish, and we're going to be back here for the same finishing point on Thursday as well. So just watching Jimmy Allen here, keeping it. So we look at the cadence here, 87, 86 revs per minute, just keeping smooth here, and just holding them at bay behind. Now, are they going to let him go? Are they going to make the mistake that we saw lots of people do, let Joe Tinley go clear in the women's crit champs? Although I don't think really many people had much choice in the matter. Joe was absolutely determined. He knew it was a target. Been talking to Rick quite regularly, and the DS of the Pro Noctis squad, and we really did. We knew she was on with a chance. Of course, a Downing cycling coached rider as well, and great to see Joe taking that action. The Pro Noctis squad, along with all of the Downing cycling riders, always on the Chaingang, regular feature for them in their training program. So you come past our full speed events. Avatar just stuck at the side of the road as per normal. So Jimmy Allen continuing to extend this gap out here, and currently you can see the numbers yourself. You don't need me to tell you. Now it's going to be Booth who's on his way. So it's Booth who's trying to just stretch his way out from that gang behind. But if they're not careful, they are going to have left it too late, because you can just see Jimmy Allen now behind Jimmy. You can see that yellow beacon, that into this long turn that brings you round. He's going to take that right-hand turn that feeds him back in. That's when we see the signal for the Fuego flat sprint. And you can't quite see the arch as you come around here. It is one where it pays to have ridden this route before. So you basically, the signal that you're on the last run is actually in the buildings just the other side of the pits in front of him. So he's going to take this right-hand feeder. You can just about make out the start of the sprint on the right-hand side. Now, behind, I think they've left it too late. I think we're going to see the Wolf taking victory here, because no matter how fast you sprint out of this group, and we've got some really quick sprinters in here, the man who's got the gap, well, it is going to be Jimmy Allen, who has gone. He's still got those 11 seconds. He's down the road here, and Allen is going to be in danger of taking this by some margin here as he comes in towards the line. Here we go. The riders behind have left it too late. Kieran Smith is coming at 20 watts per kilo. I don't care if he's coming at 200. He's not going to catch this man back, surely. As they come through, you can just see Kieran Smith is coming. He's closed that gap down. He's halfway down. Jimmy is going to have to just watch his tail here, because here he comes. It's going to be close. It's going to be down to the line. Oh, and Jimmy just gets that. We're going to have to watch that back. But I think Jimmy just held on for that. So what a ride by Kieran Smith to bring it back. But Jimmy getting his timing right, and the Wolf going off, taking victory there. Now the Chasers coming in, and great ride there by Jimmy, and I think he got it. We're going to have to watch that back on the YouTube feed. Don't forget, of course, all the live streams available for you to watch again and again. You can see whether I was right, whether that was Jimmy just getting it. Now here goes the next kick, and this is going to be Craig Gensler now kicking into the line. He is going to come in just ahead of Birmingham as we go over the line behind. Then this is our next group on the road. Who's going to take it out of this group here? I think it's going to be pretty close between them. We're just rolling in with Varty at the moment, but we're seeing OZK sprinting up here, but I think it's going to be Tatashaw Waller who's just going to get it. Tatashaw Waller, then OZK going through, Varty Osman, Varty Woodall on the way through, then Cooper going to lead this next group in. So it's Cooper, Paul Simonite right on his heels, and again this is going to be so close between them, but it's Cooper who gets distance, and Simonite just rolls him on the line. Very, very close between these riders. We're just going to try and roll our way back out from the line. You just see Page run it, West, Davies and co going in there. Looks like Mr. Wood going through as well, but Taylor's going to be our next rider into the line. Behind you just see Gutters just starting to kick, but I think Taylor has a big enough gap. Dr. D just kicking behind here, so D just trying to go in. I'm not sure he's going to get him though, so it is going to be Taylor. Then it's going to be Dr. D, Dubash, then Goodis, then Barrett, then it's going to be a Rich Orrell's group here. Oh, I think Orrell just about taking that from the rest of the gang, with Rob Wimble coming in, Lauren O'Brien coming through here. Great ride there by Lauren, absolutely flying in with that group. Goodis in here as well. We're just going to drop back and see if we can get to the next group coming in towards the line. This is the Paul Malin Goddard duo here. Goddard in the blue, Malin in the black. Malin now kicking as he comes up onto the front. So Paul Malin going for the line here. Behind you can see Garford, Donahue, Johnson, Kapinski all trying to get this gap down. But I think it is going to be Malin who just takes that. Kapinski coming in and through. Stevens, Langmead, Geoff Watson coming through. Real big groups now coming through thick and fast. You can see Tim Howcroft in there, Shelley Charles in there. So let's have a little look. Russ asking if it was a photo finish. Indeed, that is definitely going down to the photo finish. I think that is really is going to be a matter of having a little look and see just how tight it is. We've had some real tight photo finishes, and had the pleasure of recording the crosscast with Neil and Bruce. So if you're a regular listener to the crosscast, or maybe you want to catch up with all that's happening in the world of cross, then don't forget the crosscast coming out, and a real photo finish we discuss in there as well. Now Cal, it's going to be Keith Richardson just coming in front of Taylor, young Mr. Taylor, then rider Chris from the Alliance squad, Ian Taylor coming through, Hindle going through Scotland a little bit further back, so Hindle and Scotland, those are the two riders either side of the line. So looks like Andy Scotland's probably going to be our next rider in and through, so a little bit of a gap here. Now we're not going to go check it in with Russ. I know Russ just having to dive off pretty quickly tonight, plus not going to risk crashing the rest of the system. Clearly issues with the service tonight at the HQ, and that means that we were a little late to come in, but also we have slight issues in things of companion apps and so on. So Scotland would along with Kirkham and co on the way in towards the line, but it is going to be Andy Scotland who's going to be our next rider in through the finish. So Scotland pedalling well on his way in here. So Scullen goes through, nicely done. Then it's going to be Mr. Woodward. Good to have you on board, mate. A member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. Don't forget, if you're a member of the DCG gang for October, you're going to be in that draw for the Halo draw at Halloween. That is next week's Rise. Don't forget, still 2 more chain gangs before then. We've got Women's Only Wednesday tomorrow. And then we've also got the Donny Chain Gang on the Thursday after as well. So plenty more opportunities to be running on the Donny Chain Gang. Don't forget, make sure you register or become a member of the DCG gang. Keeping a check of the riders on this, really important. Not just because we want to know who's on the ride, but also so that we can make sure that everybody's safe and everybody's able to ride properly. Now, Stefano Borelli clearly found his sprinting legs. He's got his Cipollini legs on today and riding well here. He's not going to get robbed by Canham, I don't think. Oh, very tight, but Canham not quite getting him there. Sonia Inslee coming through. Another good sprint from Sonia as well. One of our regulars. And then it's going to be Raccoon coming through. Then we've got quite a drop back, I think. So good riding by Raccoon here. And that's Watson just coming in and through. Sonia Inslee, you see, just rolling down after that big old sprint. Now we're going to drop back to Nichols. Nichols, our next rider on his way in. The Red Beacon group is not all that far behind him. So we have Gurnhill, then we have Ball, Tracy, Wilson and Co. So we're going to just take a little bit of a look back. So then it's going to be Andrew Gurnhill, then it's going to be Tracy, who's got Chris Balls, Steve Wilson, Julie Leodis in this group as well. Tim Leary a little further back, and I think Les Wilcoxon could potentially be our last rider in and through the line. But at the moment, our next rider making his way in is going to be Nichols. He's on this last unwinding curve here. It basically steadily straightens out as you come in. You can just see the rock arch coming, and that is where you want to be pushing in towards the line. So next in will be Michael Nichols from the 3RT team. So Michael Nichols, then Chris Ball, then Tracy, Steve, Julie, Andrew, Tim, and then Les and Mark are the riders who are due in to Worsley Tech, just about holding out to the finish today. So good to see Mr. Nichols in and over the line. It's only a matter of a few seconds. Back to this. This is our Red Beacon group on its way through here. We're going to use the drone cam in here, and I would fully expect Tracy along with Julie Leodis to put a sprint in here, and they both know where that finish is on the way through. So at the moment it's Tracy who's winding it up on the front, Julie Leodis along with Chris Ball, and looks like Steve Wilson in here, but it is going to be Tracy who's going to come across that line first. So in goes Tracy. Tracy's going to take this, then it's going to be Julie Leodis immediately behind, then Steve Wilson, then Chris Ball. Not all that far behind, it's going to be Gurnhill. Here comes Gurnhill in towards the line here. So moving well, he comes in and over that line. Then it's time just to wind down, drop those revs down as you come in. Behind it, here comes Tim. Tim also on that final long curve, so making his way down the straight, looking good at the moment. So a massive thank you to our Red Beacon. We're just going to jump up and get a quick look at Chris, our Ball, our rider on the Red Beacon duties today, complete with red jersey. We're nice touch that, mate. So brilliant to see Chris in here. Don't forget, of course, those beacons, all volunteers and all key to keeping this ride fun for everybody. A nice run in and through. So well done, Chris. Definitely right on from me on the way down. Hopefully going to rain down on your head any moment. So Mr. Gurnhill just rolling his way in. Then it's going to be Tim Leary. So Leary in and through the line as well. So Tim, the next rider in and through. Great ride by Tim again, coming through, and all of our riders progressing as the time goes on. And that probably leaves us only a couple of riders out on course. So Les Wilcoxon along with Mark Tickhill are 2 riders out on course. Now we generally will follow our riders all the way into the finish. Gotta hope the tech holds out. I'm not going to guarantee that today because of the issues that we have had with the tech. So if we try and do anything simultaneously, we are likely to find the tech goes down on the way through. So Les Wilcoxon going to be our next rider headed in towards the line. And see him making his way in towards that finishing line pretty quickly. So Les now coming into the right-hand turn. That'll feed him on his way in and through towards the sprint. So Les riding strongly now, just starting to make his way through. And certainly looking like he's got that last little kick to come. So over the line he goes, and now into that final push. So here we go, Les now on that run for the line to come in and underneath that rock arch just up in front of him. We get that drone cam rolling, and you just see Les now. This is the last push in underneath the arch, then it's the roll down to the blue line to just spin those legs out. So through Les goes, keeping it smooth and rolling along well now, just heading in towards the blue banner that signifies the end of the warm down. Mark still riding strong here. Mark distanced early on, just sitting at his own pace and keeping those revs nice. So you just see 71 revs per minute, just ticking it along, keeping it smooth. 144 beats a minute, 208 watts, just flicking up and down a little bit as he hits these slight changes in gradient. A slight run down at the moment from away from where the start and those pens are, and just starting to make his way down in towards that turn. Now, I always love the fact that it's got a sign that says sand on the route that's called Sand and Sequoias. So Mark now coming in, you can see that turning in front of him as he turns onto that loop round. Don't forget, keeping the show on the road, it is all about being a rider and who's part of the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. If you can be a member of the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, then do you know what? It means that we can keep bringing you the Chaingang and continue bringing you all of the fun that is the Donny Chaingang, Russ, myself and all of the gang, dependent of course on those members of the DCG gang, and keeping the show rolling. In return, you get all of the links as soon as we get them. You get heads up of where the routes go, you get exclusive discounts, you get access to the competitions as well, and the members of the DCG gang are going to be up the giveaway next week. It's Halloween, so we've got some great routes, a couple of spooky routes to head on down, just to show the really the breadth of the wheels that Halo have. Don't forget you can go to halowheels.com, and if you're a member of the DCG gang, the Chaingang Sports Club, there's an extra discount. We're doubling up the discount for next week, and we're giving away £350 worth of prizes as well, and that's all going out to members of the DCG gang. You don't need to buy an extra ticket, it's part of us just saying thank you very much to you for donating to the DCG gang and keeping the show on the road. And a big thank you to all of the members. So Mark Tickhill now going to be our rider on his way into the finish here. Take holding together long enough for us to track him in here. Out of the saddle he goes. Big kick in from Mark as he comes up to the line. 4.6 watts per kilo. Come on, Mark, keep it rolling. Just keep those revs high. This under the archway you've got to get. No point easing off the time. I will stop when you hit that white line, and that is when the official finish line comes up of the Donny Chaingang, and a PR on the way through as well with a 48-second PR. Great stuff, Mark. So, time for me to wrap it up as Mark finishes his warm down. Thanks, Joyce. Apologies for the slightly later start than normal. And that is just simply tech issues beyond our control. And that is for sure. So, thanks for watching. Make sure that you join us again soon on the Donny Chaingang.